U.S. and Russian officials have since confirmed the attack was Israeli. Israel attacked Syria often enough that this makes sense, and the fact that the attacking planes were said to have come from the Lebanese airspace also suggests it was Israel, as this is their standard method of strikes against Syrian targets. The base attacked indeed was attacked by Israel back in February as well. Israel is believed to be using a Dolphin-class submarine for the missile attacks and their usual array of warplanes for the airstrikes. Israeli Chief Rabbi Yitzhak Yosef said that Israel has a moral obligation to intervene militarily in Syria. Israel, of course, has not confirmed being behind the attack. This is not uncommon for Israel, who has acknowledged only a tiny fraction of the myriad attacks they've carried out against Syria in recent years. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. They don't feed the banks, they're Bitcoin preferred, and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Arizona Supreme Court ruled Monday that college students covered under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program must pay out-of-state tuition rates. The court unanimously agreed with the 2017 Arizona Court of Appeals ruling stating students enrolled in the DACA program, which allows young immigrants brought to the United States as children to legally work and study in the country, are not eligible for lower in-state tuition. A full opinion further explaining the court's ruling will be released by May 14th, but the order was released Monday to allow students in the Maricopa Community College system and other state universities as much time as possible to plan for those affected by the decision. The ruling could force more than 2,000 DACA recipients, known as Dreamers, already attending Arizona public colleges to pay up to 3 times more for tuition. Karina Ruiz, president for the Arizona Dream Act Coalition, told the Arizona Republic a lack of access to federal and state financial aid made it difficult for DACA recipients to pay in-state rates, and the ruling will make pursuing higher education almost impossible for them. Arizona State University's in-state rate for undergraduate students is $10,640 compared to $26,470 for non-resident students, while Maricopa Community Colleges offers an in-state rate of $6 per credit hour versus $241 for non-residents. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a federal judge on Monday signed off on a $25 million agreement to settle fraud claims arising from Trump University, the now defunct education venture of U.S. President Donald Trump, after a former student agreed to drop further appeals. U.S. District Judge Gonzalo Curiel in San Diego declared the settlement final after the former student, Sherry Simpson of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, decided not to challenge a February 6th decision by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upholding the settlement. Simpson said she spent about $19,000 at Trump University and objected to a provision blocking students from opting out of the settlement and trying to recoup more money on their own. Simpson's lawyer, Gary Friedman, said in an interview on Monday, "This process has taken long enough. We took our best shot. The Ninth Circuit ruled against us, and we want the money to go out to everyone as quickly as possible." New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, who had sued Trump over the university, welcomed the settlement. When initially granting final approval in March 2017, Curiel said the settlement provided significant and immediate relief to thousands of students who could potentially recoup more than 90 cents on the dollar. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is The Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Computers are online. I'm gonna start loading software.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Call to Freedom.
Broadcasting live from Vertcoin Studios on LRN FM.
You're listening to Will.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
And Aria.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Stay tuned for political talk and everything crypto. That's right.
Broadcasting internationally on our Bit Plus Network satellite.
This is
The Call to Freedom.
All right, let's boot it up.
All right, that's right. Welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on this Tuesday live edition. Broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It's been a lovely day outside today. We are joined live via remote by Miss Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method over there in Maryland. How you doing today, Chelsea?
Pretty great.
Awesome. And we also have in studio with us our tech guy from Think Penguin, Mr. Chris Wade. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So, I guess today's a holiday because, in liberal La La Land, if you go look, I'm
every
sure
day is a holiday.
Every day is like Secretary's Day, Teacher's Day, Teacher's Secretary's Day. To
be fair, though, this was not done by Democrats. This was done by Hallmark. They're the ones who did it. They made every single day a holiday so they could sell more cars.
Yeah.
and now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, but this was originally done by Hallmark.
Well, I guess it's a good business decision then.
Oh, it was a fantastic business decision.
So, what wonderful holiday are we marking today, Chelsea?
Today is Equal Pay Day, which basically means that a whole bunch of people of one of the two sexes gets to get online and complain a bunch. And apparently everyone's wearing red.
So does this mean I get to make as much as Trump?
No. You're already a dude, so you don't get to complain if you don't make as much money as some other dudes. It's only women who get to complain about not making as much money as you. Yeah.
I'm so disappointed.
I guess none of them have ever been in the service industry.
The service industry has its whole own things that people like to complain about. But yeah, so apparently people are wearing red on Tuesday. Employees advocating for an end to the gender wage gap are wearing red in honor of Equal Pay Day. For supporters, red symbolizes how women are in the red with their salaries compared to men's. According to Michelle Lieber, the chair of the National Committee on Pay Equity, which organizes Equal Pay Day each year. From local libraries to national advocacy organizations, supporters of closing the gender wage gap encouraged employees to wear red on Equal Pay Day. The color has also been used in equal pay movements across the globe, with protesters in cities like Berlin and Toronto wearing red and holding red signs last year on the same day. So this statement I actually find pretty funny, in the red, right? Because in the red, for everybody who's not taken accounting, which these people clearly haven't, means actually negative, so less than zero. It doesn't mean less than what somebody else whose assets you covet has. It means less than zero.
That's funny.
So you've got that. And then it says also the day is chosen, the day for the event each year is also symbolic. So they chose a Tuesday in April to mark Equal Pay Day each year to represent how far into the work week women must work to earn what men earned the previous week. Apparently. So I also think that it's highly symbolic because it comes right around, as we all know, Tax Day, which is everybody's favorite day of all the year. Which also represents, is a very good indicator of how much you have to work.
Happy Government Theft Day!
Yeah, right? How much you have to work without pay in order to fund all of the wonderful, bombing of Syria and all sorts of things, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Right. I think that's what we're going to do. If Tax Day happens to be like a weekday, what we'll do is we'll devote at least the first hour of the show to just letting people call in and say, what is the thing that you were robbed for today that you're paying for that you don't want to be paying for? And just let people call in and be like, I hate this, and I wish I do not consent to my money being spent on this. And we can just take stock of this whole quote-unquote consent of the governed that we seem to be fed, the government somehow has the consent of the governed to do these things.
Yeah, one of even a more interesting thing is to look at, like, if the government did not take that money away from you, what would you be spending it on? And I think that that's a thing that people really don't look at in terms of tax money spent, right? Everybody says, oh, well, this is a foregone conclusion. We're going to give away all of this money that we made last year. And then the government's going to spend it in some way that we're going to pretend is in any way useful at all, even though it's not. It's not even zero. It's like a negative sum game, right? But instead to look at, okay, well, what if you didn't have to pay, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 in taxes this year? What would you spend that money on? And I think that's actually kind of a good motivator for people to be like, man, like that really wouldn't suck if I had all that money back.
When these equal pay types that are hollering that somehow like women make like 5 cents for every dollar that a man makes or whatever
86 cents, not 5.
whatever ridiculous number it is. Do they count all women or just women in the workforce? Or does a housewife count as a woman in the workforce and they just put her income down as 0 and average it out, and that's how they come up with this ridiculous number?
No, so I've read a lot of studies on this because this is a thing that it's like a soapbox for me. In my opinion, like I'm going to work hard to make as much money as I can, but I'm never going to like compare what I make. It's just super stupid.
It's the language of covetousness.
Right. But so the way that they do it, the way that they calculate it usually, and the reason why they come up with this offset number is that they look at the comparisons are a little bit problematic. So they'll look at inside of one particular degree category, right? So they'll look at men who earned a degree in economics versus women who learned a degree in economics, or men who earned a degree in psychology versus women who earned a degree in psychology, okay? So they'll look at it kind of degree specific, which seems good, but the problem is, like, men generally tend to pick jobs from that category, from that degree, that make more money. So men will go and they'll start their own practice, or they'll go into psychiatry, which makes more money than, say, family counseling, right? Whereas women, because they're more like social creatures and things like that, tend to go into things like social work, right? So if you get a psychology degree and you go into social work, well, yeah, you're going to make less money than a man going into psychiatry. So they get numbers that are off for that reason. But then even when they compare like jobs that are relatively similar, often the thing that they don't take into account is maternity leave. And that's one of the biggest ones that I've never seen that taken into account in any serious study.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that because it's not like the gap is not off that much today. I mean, it might have been in the past, but today it's not. And it seems like to me it would easily be accountable for why there is a gap currently.
My wife's lost 2 jobs over maternity leave.
Well, it's not just about losing the job. So one of the issues that I've come across so many times, women will trained to go into some higher level position, right? And they're going for this job that would put them at an earning level or an earning potential equal to men. And then all of a sudden in the split second, they get pregnant and they're done. They just they're leave, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to be a mother now. Well, the company then is going to be much more wary about promoting women into these types of positions. And so you end up with these what seem like gender disparities in how much people want to hire, how much people want to pay you. But what it actually is just like your actual level of commitment to the job, right?
Well,
is a man going to up and leave? No, he's not.
Well, not only that, socially, how do we look at women who are in those positions? We look at them as like they have sacrificed children. They're like battle axes, barren women who can't, cougars, that kind of thing. So, I mean, that just kind of says like you have to literally be like a ball breaker who cuts off all female emotion in order to take these positions. So, to me, the whole equal pay thing is a complete myth.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. I'm joined in studio by Mr. Chris Wade from Think Penguin and live via remote by Miss Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method. And we were just about to get into this story. There's a war on for your mind right now, in all honesty. There has been for at least 8 years. I mean, there has been since you were been born, but this is a new one. You know, there's constantly new wars on for your mind. All through the 80s when we were kids, it was communism. Then in the 90s, it was still communism. And what was the other thing that was? Oh, that's right. Black people were horrible because of gang violence. That was the government's message at that point in time. Instead of be scared of the communists,
gangs and drugs.
Yeah, it was be scared of gangs, be scared of going into black neighborhoods. That was the message of the media in the 90s. And well, it turned out that wasn't a really good message for, keeping America from collapsing. So we needed a new outside enemy. So now we've got the terrorist, be scared of the terrorist. And that's given us a pretty good run. It's like the second Cold War. We're 17 years now.
Has it really been that long?
Since 9/11? Yeah.
Wow.
17 years now. We're 17 years in now to this war that's been going on that much like the Cold War, is meant to be a war without end, but unlike the Cold War, doesn't have a clearly defined enemy. Anybody could be terrorists. Spain could be terrorists. Chile could be terrorists.
Some of the lists that they've got multiple lists, so like they can basically point to anybody as a terrorist. Have you ever been to a foreign website?
Yes.
Well, the answer is yes. Everybody who's connected to the internet has been to a foreign website.
Yes. Have you shopped at Alibaba.com? Then you've been connected to a foreign website. Have you ever Googled anything that you wanted to buy and opened the link to the really cheap one only to find out you have to buy 100 of them to get that price? You've been to a foreign website more than likely.
Even if you haven't been to a foreign website, your connection may have gone over a foreign route. Say, for example, goes into Canada and then down into California from the East Coast.
Oh.
You've communicated internationally, therefore you're a terrorist.
Wow.
I would probably be marked that way though, just because of the actual things that I searched. Not even it's like forget going through Canada. It's just the actual stuff I'm putting out there.
If I've not been on at least 3 lists for the last 10 years, then they're simply not paying attention.
Seriously. Oh man.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide. It's most of us have probably been marked since birth. Or at least a very young age.
That's weird, though. Like, it is weird to think about, honestly.
Well, you know what? A lot of that's being fueled and paid for. The advertisements that you see on your television for Boeing when you're watching CNN. Because, I often find myself in the market for a new 787. So
yeah, totes.
Of course CNN is advertising Boeing or Raytheon or Lockheed Martin because everybody needs a Hellfire missile for over the mantle, right? I mean, I know I have
yes.
one.
Can I have one of those?
I have one. So I mean, everybody should have one. No, but I do have a coin. I have a Hellfire missile coin because I have a brother-in-law who was very proud of the fact that he soldered points on Hellfire missiles at Lockheed Martin for just over minimum wage. Yeah. So like we pay like $8.50 an hour for Americans to build bombs to solder points on Hellfire missiles that we.
All right. What exactly is this that you're talking about?
What do you mean? A Hellfire missile.
I understand what a Hellfire missile is.
Oh, no, this is a coin with a picture of a Hellfire missile on it because, like, it was his 100th missile that he worked on.
He sorted the coins?
He got the coin from work.
Okay.
Because he sorted, like, he worked on the Hellfire missile's components.
Okay. I got you.
On a factory.
I thought you were saying he was sorting some sort of coin or something.
Solder.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
yeah, I follow.
You know, metal.
Yeah.
Solder.
Yeah.
Come on, guy. You're a tech guy. You know what solder is. Or do I just say it with a
Wait,
with a
I believe it's pronounced solder. Are you talking about like adhering metal to another metal?
Yeah, I'm
I think that's pronounced solder. In like most of the countries.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was super lost too for the whole time.
I'm from the South.
I still didn't understand a second ago. I thought you were saying he was a sorter, like he sorted components.
No. He soldered.
Soldered
there
stuff
we go.
onto different parts
Points,
of the Hellfire missile.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. He got a little coin as like, oh, your 100th missile, and he was very proud of that coin. And I was like, so how many children have you killed in your lifetime?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
you are definitely a libertarian.
Yeah. I said it at Thanksgiving.
Listen.
Yes, that's the best time to say it. You gotta start fighting.
There is something there's some things that you like don't say on the radio that might be okay to say amongst other libertarians.
Yeah. No, I say it like at Thanksgiving at his house. Well, not anymore because him and my sister got divorced. But yeah.
Wow.
My sister's like an anarchist too, though. So
okay.
As soon as he was like, oh no, I think it's totally justifiable that I make money to profit off of the death of small children, my sister was just like, I really don't like you, and your morals make me kind of nauseous. I taught her well.
I really don't understand some relationships.
Anyway, that all of these things, you know, the advocacy of war, the advocacy of anti-immigration policies, this fear and hate your neighbor syndrome that's going around the country that really got going in earnest in 2010. It's coming specifically from politics, but it's also being paid for by some very specific people. And I wanted to spend some time today actually going into that. There have been a couple articles that have come out in the last few days. We covered a new study that came out last week, and now you've got more studies. Basically, over the course of the last couple of years, people have been starting to pay attention to things like the guy who shoots up Vegas gets 15 media hits, and the guy who shoots up the Pulse nightclub gets 75. That it's literally 7 times as much media coverage. And now we're finding that it's also in our politics. It's infected our politics to the point that they're now doing scientific studies to see just how deeply it has infected our politics. And when we get back, we're actually going to get into this from Hannah. What's her name again? Yeah.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Could dropping bombs on Afghans without warning from terrifying robot airplanes that fly themselves actually hurt America's efforts to stabilize Afghanistan?
It's complicated. No, not at all. Actually, I think we need to stay the course. You don't change horses midstream, and you don't stop firing missiles from unseen death droids soaring high above the clouds just because a couple of schools get blown up.
We have got to find another way to obliterate this population.
What about flaming bulldozers or 50-foot-tall tanks?
Let's do what we can for these civilians. I mean, why not name the drones Billy or Steve to make them seem less dispassionate?
That is a terrible idea. Billy is a horrible name for a drone.
They're now developing a 40-foot robot that actually looks more like an American soldier and also sprays lasers out of his eyes.
Well, at least that's a step forward.
Hey, look, as long as it fires missiles and bombs with very little accuracy and 0 Americans are at threat, I'm all for it.
Good point.
They should give it funny, floppy arms.
Yes.
Oh, it should spray candy out of its chest a few minutes before it starts shooting everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees!
What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it is definitely another beautiful day. We've been about to get into this article here. Chelsea, you were reading it, and you said you're just flabbergasted, basically.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, this is close to. Never in my life have I felt actually so, and so I'm youngish, whatever. But never in my life have I felt so just like absolutely devastated at the nature of this country than what was it, Standing Rock, when they were just like, I was like seeing the news and I just like couldn't. I felt sick, And this is like the exact same response. I'm just like, this is literally sickening to me.
And this has been something that's developed. Most of the organizations who have been pushing this and encouraging politicians to embrace this ideology were set up in the year 2007. Almost all of them were set up in the year 2007, or their seminal works, like books that set them to stardom, came out around 2007, but didn't become popular until 2010. With the rise of the quote-unquote Ground Zero Mosque controversy that was funded, we're going to find out a little bit later, was funded by basically one family, almost all of this stuff, from Steve Bannon's career to Trump's election to 10 years of this just hate being fed to the American public and paid for by basically one or two families. This is coming from Hannah Alam at BuzzFeed, and the title is "State and Local Republican Officials Have Been Bashing Muslims." We know, we counted. State lawmaker in Oklahoma refused to meet with Muslim constituents unless they replied to a questionnaire he had made up asking if they beat their wives. A Nebraska state senator suggested that any Muslim wanting to enter the U.S. should first be forced to eat pork. A Rhode Island legislator advocated herding Syrian refugees into a camp, writing in an email that Muslims seek to, quote, murder, rape, and decapitate anyone who isn't Muslim.
That sounds suspiciously like the Japanese incarceration.
Right. Those are among dozens of examples of state and local Republican politicians and officials publicly attacking Islam in 49 states since 2015, typically with total impunity. According to BuzzFeed News analysis, some elected officials shared hate-filled social media posts urging violence against Muslims, while others used subtler, more loaded language to smear Islam as they opposed mosque-building projects or wrote bills aimed at what they called the threat of, quote, Sharia, because, Shakira law is what you want. The anti-Muslim rhetoric in virtually every state reflects the general coarsening of political speech and the anything goes. See, this is the BS part, because they straight up just acknowledge, like, we started studying this stuff in 2015 because it was so bad in 2015 that it was worth studying. But yeah, bro, like, I started studying it 5 years before that, when it hit fever pitch and we started doubling the amount of anti-Muslim hate crimes that were committed yearly. Like when we go from 70 to 160 in a year, that's when people in my community, our ears perked up. I mean, I'm glad BuzzFeed could finally catch up with us 5 years later when that number is now at 360.
And when it's convenient to blame it all on President Trump.
Exactly. And when it's convenient to blame it all on President Trump, instead of acknowledging that this grew and festered at a fever pitch, like a wildfire out of control in the wind under President Obama. And his administration's policy of creating fake terrorist attacks to appear tough on terror had a lot to do with it.
Gosh, where have we heard that before?
Yeah, it's I'm always amazed at how the FBI basically lures people into committing crimes, and then it's like, oh, we have a terrorist, or whatever. It's not even just terrorism. It's all sorts of other crimes. It's like these people wouldn't have gone out and planted an explosive because they didn't even have the materials until you gave it to them, or similar kinds of stuff.
Now, I don't know why they're saying this is funny to me, because Obama didn't either while he was in office. Just an FYI, Obama, the quote-unquote Muslim president, didn't visit a mosque until his last 3 months in office. He finally went to a mosque, I believe in Chicago, and went to an actual mosque. But the whole time he was in office, the whole 8 years that we're going from 60 to 170 or something like that, hate crimes from 2009 to 2010, a huge uptick like that. And he was over here with this other thing.
Wait, did he claim to be Muslim? Or
No. The claim was that he was.
That he was a Muslim,
yeah.
but he's never been to a mosque until recently.
He'd been when he was younger.
Okay.
The entire time he was in office until the last 3 months, he did not step foot in one.
I imagine he went to Christian churches, right?
Many times. Yes.
Oh, so he's got
because that's expected of presidents to attend for Easter and
but
stuff.
Somehow again it's back to like, well, we're going to ignore all of that and we're just going to lay all this at the feet of Trump. Trump sucks, but I mean, Jesus Christ, can we not have a conversation in the realms of reality and truth and like, no, this happened for the last 8 years before Trump ever existed. For 6 years at the very least, this was not only a problem, but a problem that was growing exponentially. You could stand on a college campus and brag about urinating in face washing sinks at the mosque up the street and encourage college students there to do the same. And the college campus was like, no, man, that's straight. But Milo, who, again, I hate these people, gets kicked off of stage for saying something basically the same a few years later. Because now it's about, oh, well, this is a Trump thing. But those idiots were already on school campuses years before Trump was even a thought in somebody's mind. So, I mean, to me, at the very least, it's intellectually dishonest at the very, lowest, and it's out and out lying for political purposes at worst.
Yeah.
It says Muslims have no reason to believe the White House will take the lead in addressing the inflammatory language. Okay, they didn't have any reason to believe that before because he didn't. Obama didn't, yet they believed he would, even though for years he simply didn't do so.
Well, the problem is that you believe that there is like honesty or rationality or logic in political conversations, and that's
particularly today.
That just doesn't happen.
Says Trump picks a rabid anti-Islam figure as his new national security advisor, John Bolton, former UN ambassador and chair of the Gatestone Institute. See, they weren't happy with the guy he had before either. They were protesting against the guy he had before as well. So, like, I hate to break it to you Muslims out there, guys. I mean, I love you guys. You're my community. But in the GOP, it's pretty slim pickings because you guys decided to have a no-contact policy for the last 12 years and left Suhail Khan out there by himself trying to fight for your community in a circle all alone while you sit back and wag your finger at them and tell them, how bad they are and lecture Appalachian coal miners about how they have privilege, Oy vey. All right. Anyway, we'll be back with a little more of this. We're going to find out when we get back because I mean there's so much here to unpack. We literally could not go through all of the different organizations and statements that have come out from the GOP, but what we can do is find out who's funding it. Where's the money for this coming from? We'll be right back here with the answer to that on the Call to Freedom.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. Freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And we want you to come up here and visit us in our little crypto community. There's an opportunity for you to do so coming up soon. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, activists, and libertarians this summer from June 14th through June 18th. For ForkFest 2018 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest is a fork of other camping parties in the woods, and you're invited to come and create whatever experience you'd like others to have. ForkFest is completely decentralized. That means nobody's in charge, so everyone is. It's up to you to create what happens. Or just bring a cooler and a tent and maybe a lawn chair and hang out and relax and go camping with some other liberty lovers. You can learn more at forkfest.party. While you're there, join the forum or the Telegram chat group. Again, that's forkfest.party. Come out and see us. We'll be there along with a whole lot of other LRN.FM hosts. You'll have hosts from Free Talk Live. I don't know if Vincent's coming from Challenging Authority. I think, Chris, you're going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, you're going to be able
It's
to
gonna
come
be a great
out.
time.
Oh, yeah, lots and lots of fun. We've been talking about, a lot of people, anybody that's been paying attention knows that there's been an uptick, among particularly right-wing politicians in not just the acceptance, but the complete and total promotion of these anti-Muslim conspiracy theories from they're outbreeding us and gonna take over the world, which I heard about Mexicans and Jews and blacks all through the 80s and 90s from the the Aryan Brotherhood stepfather I had for a while. So literally exactly the same harebrained lunatic conspiracy theories that would have never been entertained in American politics, seriously at least, 20 years ago, are now in the White House. But who's paying for this stuff? This has been going on for about 10 years now, and somebody's been pumping money into that. And it turns out that there's a big family that have been funding everyone from Breitbart to Milo Yiannopoulos to ads to taken out to run anti-Muslim ads in certain conservative swing states. I mean, this one particular family has been pumping tons and tons of money into these efforts. Robert Mercer. Now, he's been pumping millions of dollars into conservative nonprofit groups. This latest time, they used Facebook and Google to target anti-Muslim ads towards certain voters in swing states, according to the tax records that were obtained by the Center for Responsive Politics. The ads, 3 in all, mimic travel advertisements intended to stoke fears of Muslim influence in France, Germany, and the United States. Most voters were never exposed to the ads because they were targeted toward people most likely to be receptive to them, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. The ads do not specifically mention the names of political candidates. Mercer was among 3 donors that provided most of the funding for the Secure America Now nonprofit group that was behind the ads and that now operates out of a law firm in Washington, D.C. Mercer spent millions of dollars in 2016 to support the campaign of Trump as a prominent backer of conservative causes. Other donors include the Estee Lauder heir, Ronald Lauder, who gave $1.1 million to the secret money group 45 Committee, which pumped another $2 million into SAN. An additional $60,000 recorded in contributions to the group from former Best Buy CEOs Brad Anderson. Republican donor Foster Friess and Olympus Ventures, a company tied to the foundation created by Best Buy founder Dick Schultz, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. Bloomberg first reported in October of 2017 that SAN worked directly with employees at Google and Facebook to target these ads toward a specific audience determined to be more receptive to their message. Now, the ads themselves are pretty over the top. I don't know if anybody out there has actually seen them. If you have, you're welcome to give us a call, 603-283-6160. It's basically a man it's like a kind of an over-the-top kind of feel. French tourist sites, both familiar and transformed. Eiffel Tower is capped with a star and crescent, and the spires of Notre Dame replaced with a domed kubba of a mosque. This is coming to America.
Whoa, that was so intense, dude. No, they put the Hollywood sign. They replaced it with Allahu Akbar, right?
Yeah. The Islamic State of Germany invited visitors to celebrate the arranged marriages of our future jihadi soldiers at our pork and alcohol-free Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and it shows schools, American schools, with like a bunch of kids. Like everybody's just in a burqa. You can't see anybody at all.
Yeah.
which all of which is super funny because, as you know, our education system is just like super great at not indoctrinating kids and
For
not
real, right?
brainwashing them. And so like the system we have now is so perfect, we should definitely keep it.
Let's see here. Yeah, he's Mercer is an IBM executive, former IBM executive. Let's see.
I think I said
here.
somewhere he had stepped down from one of his companies because the company began to lose clients.
Well, he
So-
turned it over to his equally insane daughter, Rebecca.
Right, and I am sure that he still gets money out of
Yeah.
that. Like, that's the thing. It's all just like, news nonsense. People are like, oh, I guess I'll just still fund this company then. Well, okay.
Well, he was recently named new administration chief strategist and senior counselor for Breitbart News. Campaign Ethics Commission, Watchdog, and Political Group are now calling on the Federal Election Commission and the FBI to investigate those connections because they believe the entanglements between Mercer, his Make America Number One PAC, and the Trump campaign are illegal according to election law.
But they won't because they're too tied up looking at Russia.
Yep, that's right. There's like so many strings. It's like a threadbare coat. There's just so many strings. Like, pick a string you want to pull. I'm sure there's going to be something you don't like on the other end of it. But I mean, it's just he spent a lot of money. One thing a lot of these articles don't mention, though, Jesus Christ, he's given $36.8 million to super PACs since 2010. Yeah, that's a lot of money. 15.5 of that going to Make America Number One. And when the super PAC was originally formed in April 2015, it backed Ted Cruz. In June of 2016, it changed its name and candidate, shifting to Trump. They were also named in another thing. It's called Fear Inc. And basically, that was a list of there were pro-Israel groups that pour money into pro-Israel candidates that also pour money into anti-Muslim organizations at the same time, because America bombing Muslim countries so Israel doesn't have to spend their money doing it. It's good for Israel.
Yeah, wow.
Indeed.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. So, if we do it, then Israel doesn't have to spend their money doing it. They can spend their money on like 80 foot tall, 13 foot thick walls on their borders. Suddenly Americans want here. I mean, do we not notice or see these things in our society that we are becoming like, people that we used that our forefathers mocked? Our forefathers are now accepting them. We fought wars against them, and now that most of them are dead, their sons are like taking daddy's old Nazi emblem that he took off that dead soldier that he shot.
Seriously.
And tagging it to the back of their jacket. And, "Raw, we gonna save America. Woohoo! Save it from the immigrants." All right, well, we'll be back with more on the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.51 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,732. Antiwar.com reports Israeli airstrikes against the Syrian Tyros military airbase have left at least 12 people dead and considerable damage. There are claims that fighter jets and cruise missiles were involved in the attack. Locals reported over 20 missiles hit the site, and Syrian media initially expressed the belief that this was a U.S. attack. The Pentagon denied involvement, however, as both U.S. and Russian officials have since confirmed the attack was Israeli. Israel attacked Syria often enough that this makes sense, and the fact that the attacking planes were said to have come from the Lebanese airspace also suggests it was Israel, as this is their standard method of strikes against Syrian targets. The base attacked indeed was attacked by Israel back in February as well. Israel is believed to be using a Dolphin-class submarine for the missile attacks and their usual array of warplanes for the airstrikes. Israeli Chief Rabbi Yitzhak Yosef said that Israel has a moral obligation to intervene militarily in Syria. Israel, of course, has not confirmed being behind the attack. This is not uncommon for Israel, who has acknowledged only a tiny fraction of the myriad attacks they've carried out against Syria in recent years. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. They don't feed the banks, they're Bitcoin preferred, and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Arizona Supreme Court ruled Monday that college students covered under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program must pay out-of-state tuition rates. The court unanimously agreed with a 2017 Arizona Court of Appeals ruling stating students enrolled in the DACA program, which allows young immigrants brought to the United States as children to legally work and study in the country, are not eligible for lower in-state tuition. A full opinion further explaining the court's ruling will be released by May 14th, but the order was released Monday to allow students in the Maricopa Community College system and other state universities as much time as possible to plan for those affected by the decision. The ruling could force more than 2,000 DACA recipients, known as Dreamers, already attending Arizona public colleges to pay up to 3 times more for tuition. Karina Ruiz, president for the Arizona Dream Act Coalition, told the Arizona Republic a lack of access to federal and state financial aid made it difficult for DACA recipients to pay in-state rates, and the ruling will make pursuing higher education almost impossible for them. Arizona State University's in-state rate for undergraduate students is $10,640 compared to $26,470 for non-resident students, while Maricopa Community Colleges offers an in-state rate of $6 per credit hour versus $241 for non-residents. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports a federal judge on Monday signed off on a $25 million agreement to settle fraud claims arising from Trump University, the now defunct education venture of U.S. President Donald Trump, after a former student agreed to drop further appeals. U.S. District Judge Gonzalo Curiel in San Diego declared the settlement final after the former student, Sherry Simpson of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, decided not to challenge a February 6th decision by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upholding the settlement. Simpson said she spent about $19,000 at Trump University and objected to a provision blocking students from opting out of the settlement and trying to recoup more money on their own. Simpson's lawyer, Gary Friedman, said in an interview on Monday, "This process has taken long enough. We took our best shot. The Ninth Circuit ruled against us, and we want the money to go out to everyone as quickly as possible." New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, who had sued Trump over the university, welcomed the settlement. When initially granting final approval in March 2017, Curiel said the settlement provided significant and immediate relief to thousands of students who could potentially recoup more than 90 cents on the dollar. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Inclement weather prevents a liar from getting to work, and a lunchbox is mostly medication. Sources across the nation impatiently reported today that the 24-hour news cycle seemed to be taking forever, telling reporters that the continuous coverage from MSNBC, CNN, and other news sources was simply not continuous enough. Frustrated Americans demanded more panel coverage, around-the-clock bulletins, and breaking reactions from Twitter.
It's like, sure, I have 5 channels of unending news updates constantly flooding my screen, but each one of those only has one slow-moving news ticker. Why not 3 or 4 running at triple speed? Honestly, these networks need to understand that I can't just wait around all day for minute-by-minute coverage.
And in this week's science news, a new report finds that lake ice grows safer to venture out on with each beer consumed. In other news, the beauty industry announces a new initiative to make women self-conscious about their palms. A beautiful cinnamon bun is too good for this world, too pure. And a picky eater is 38.
This is the Onion News Network. The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. On the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time for the Crypto Hour, our Tuesday edition of the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. And, we've got a story here. It was written by one of our sponsors. You hear us talk about their decentralized text and communication platform, CryptVisor. And one of CryptVisor's, one of their public representatives, basically he's their English-speaking guy. That's what Mark is. He's their English-speaking guy. He's the only guy on the team that speaks English. And he's wrote a really great piece here. And he sent it to me today, and I read it, and I was like, you know what? I think we'll hit that up while we're doing Crypto Hour, at least the first half of the show, because I think he makes some pretty good points here. The title, and this is from Mark Aaron Babbitt. He's a free Seattle native, a free speech advocate, and he's a communications director for CryptVisor. And the title is From the Great Wall to the Firewall. Border walls built from mud, stone, brambles, barbed wire, concrete, and now seemingly built from firewalls, either to keep people out or in many cases to keep people in. Though the one thing they all have in common is that they were built under a centralized system, a single government. Now, I don't want to get into the ludicrous argument about, quote, the people elect their government. The government is a reflection of the wants and needs of the people, end quote. No, I won't go there. I'm sure that we all know how ridiculous that argument is. Governments do not have the interest of the people at heart. The only interest they have at heart is to support their friends and hold on to power. And if that means building a wall to keep their people in, then by God, they'll do it. Well, they censor what people see, limit the exposure to the outside world, feed them misinformation, create a boogeyman for all of them to rally against, and then create us versus them mentalities. And I must say, they're pretty damn good at it. Though today's border walls are being constructed without physical labor, without machines or metal or stone. Today's border walls are nothing more than software, firewalls, a barrier between a trusted internal network, us, and the untrusted external network, them. The Great Firewall of China is the combination of legislative actions and technologies enforced by the government, limiting its people access to the outside world. The untrusted network, the them. North and South Korean firewalls prevent their citizens from reaching pro-North Korea in South Korea and pro-South Korea in North Korean websites, keeping fear and ignorance alive and well. This is the goal of all government firewalls, keeping the people of the country in the dark and or preventing the people within said country the ability to reach the outside world. We see this more and more in terms of text messaging apps. The Iranian government blocking the usage of WhatsApp, Russia demanding access to Telegram, the UK demanding a backdoor to WhatsApp, and the list goes on and on. Smartphones and instant messaging apps have become today's protest signs. The Arab Spring uprising, the Iranian Green Revolution in 2009, Spain's Los Indignados, Occupy Wall Street, Gezi Park in Turkey, many more benefited from the use of these messaging apps. People have found a new use for this tool. Once just thought of as a cute, fancy emoji posting tool, it's become a tool of power. Or better yet, a tool of challenging power. Though they are aware of this too. People in power will do anything to keep it. Corrupt governments will do everything they can to hold on to what they have and will trample on the voices of dissidents and try to oppress the grievances of its people. The use of these messaging apps were becoming a problem to those in power, a nuisance like that of a buzzing fly. So they did what all scared, power-hungry people do. They blocked them. They shut off services to these apps, keeping the voices, the photos, the videos from their people hidden to the rest of the world. Twitter, WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, Telegram all failed. All were shut down, blocked, useless when it really mattered. Why? One word. They're all centralized. One point of attack, one switch to turn off, one person in power, one head to roll. It's easy as pie. I wonder what Kai Stincombe has to say, given this train of thought that centralization is a much better way to handle trust. Quote, a decentralized, tamper-proof repository sounds like a great way to audit where your mango comes from, how fresh it is, and whether it's been sprayed with pesticides or not. But actually laws on food labeling, nonprofit or government inspectors, and independent, trusted free press, empowered workers who trust whistleblower protections, credible grocery stores, your local nonprofit farmers market, and so on and so forth do a way better job. Well, I would have to respectfully disagree with this thought, for it's under this centralized system that has given rise to this mess to begin with. Laws, government inspectors, free press, whistleblower protection. What are these things? Where are these things? And just where are you living, Kai? No disrespect intended, but the world in which I live, government inspectors are bought and paid for. Laws only apply to the poor and the powerless. Free press has become a censored political party mouthpiece. And whistleblower protection, well, why don't we ask Edward Snowden or Chelsea Manning how well that goes for them? A decentralized system would be much better. No central point of attack, but thousands of nodes spread throughout the world. If one falls, the others they simply keep going. If one lies, the other keep it in check. And the more you have, the harder it is to manipulate, the harder it is to stop, the harder it is to block. With that in mind, it's time for a changing of the guards. Facebook has disgraced itself. WhatsApp can't deliver what it's promised, and Telegram will become a tool of the Russian government or stopped altogether. Signal is using old age end-to-end encryption models, which are not as safe as you think, and all of them are centralized. One point of attack, one switch to turn off, one person in charge. It's time for something new, a decentralized system using blockchain to handle the transfer of the keys is groundbreaking. A system that cannot be blocked or stopped with thousands of nodes spread around the globe. Not one person in charge, no personal information whatsoever kept on the users. This will be a nightmare for centralized governments. They will lose power to quell voices of their own people. It will allow normal everyday people to have more anonymity and more security than even the heads of state. This is what they want to block. This is what they want to prevent. There will be a changing of the guards in the field of instant communications. One that's decentralized, one that uses blockchain, one that does not collect email addresses, phone numbers, or even the names of its users. And it will be used as a defensive weapon against state censorship, heralded as a tool for free speech. And it's fitting that this instant communication app is being given away completely for free. You can go to cryptvisor.network to learn more about this. It's to me, it's groundbreaking to see someone, like you said, after we've seen phones services blocked, all these other things, communication efforts blocked during these Arab Spring revolutions, and this stops all of that. This gives you back control of your communication.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupidMatch.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
My personal position on the death penalty is this. We know for a fact that there have been hundreds of people who have been wrongly convicted for various offenses. People who were wrongly convicted of murder and who were sentenced to death, who have later been exonerated. And from that, we can deduce that there have been innocent people who were executed for crimes they did not commit. And the fact that I do consider myself to be consistently pro-life, I don't support using taxpayer funds to kill any human at all, anywhere. Using any money that is taken by force and then used to murder people is wrong.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom.
تستمتعون إلى The Crypto Hour على برنامج نداء للحرية.
Where's the one protected? Whoa, and they got video of him saying it. Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. It is the Crypto Hour here. We were just discussing CryptVisor and how a platform that basically can't be blocked can be useful in revolutions. And I mean, because the government's figured out that they could block those other apps, and they did when revolutions started popping up. I mean, you heard about it happening in Turkey. They were like, oh, revolution, turn all the cell phones
internet
off.
access off at one point in Turkey.
I think they did.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad that they
were just like, we'll just kill the internet.
Yeah.
We'll kill the internet.
I'm not sure that this will get around the killing of the internet.
No, I don't think it will get around the killing of the internet, but it will get around every other opportunity. Like they will have no choice but to kill the internet. Like that will be it. Like your choices are deal with the fact that people are going to do this, or turn off the internet. There's a revolution and people are going to talk to each other about it, or turn off the internet.
Trying to kill off the internet in today's age is literally a death knell to your economy, to your political ability to maintain control. It's suicide.
Yeah, absolutely. Free communication is dangerous to totalitarian governments. If you can communicate privately without them being able to see or know what you're talking about, I mean, there's a reason why in Stalinist Russia, children were taught to snitch on their parents at school. It's because being able to sincerely and openly communicate in a private fashion is important to a free society. And if you want to maintain control, you have to control what people can say even when you're not looking.
Yeah.
Or when they think when they're not looking, but they know you can still see. I mean, basically government becomes God, becomes Santa Claus, that thing which can see you even in your home, even at night, even in your thoughts. That's pretty scary. And that's what they want government. That's what big government Republicans and Democrats alike want government to be. That's what they want.
It's very true. It's a very scary world out there. What governments and what governments get too, for that matter. I'm always reading about censorship related issues, and it's not even just happening with Russia. It's happening in the United States.
Oh yeah.
I mean they block gambling websites. They block indirectly. The United States is an interesting censorship filter. They basically go and target the CEOs of companies overseas, for example, and if you don't comply with U.S. law, even though you're not in the U.S., we'll find ways to shut you down. And what happens as a result is companies start blocking people from the U.S. from accessing, whatever their website is, whether it's a back page type of site or Craigslist essentially, or it's a gambling site, or it's a piracy site, or and there's all sorts of different or just even simply sex education type sites. They've blocked people in the U.S. It's a lot of times it sounds like, oh well, those are bad things though, but at the same time it's still censorship.
Power and control over communication is I'm gonna say as important or close to as important as the control of the money in a society. If you can control the communication in a society, what's said, what's not said, what's allowed to be said, what words can you say, what words can you not. If you can be the one who gets to be put in charge of that, that's as good as being allowed to count the votes, as good as being allowed to control the money. If you can control the communication. I mean, imagine, so the first Egyptian revolution, right, in the Arab Spring, all the communication was done through messaging and text messaging and stuff like that. And all of these different things they were able to coordinate through like WhatsApp, Telegram type stuff, okay? You also had these roving vigilante squads that you had women who were going out who were being involved in the protests. And these women were being sexually assaulted by young men. So they had a text message-based alert system with roving squads of vigilantes that were beating the hell out of guys that were trying to sexually assault female protesters. And that's basically like your sister's out protesting and she sends a text to you that some guy is trying to grab female protesters, and then you send a text to this thing that's like, oh, my sister is at this spot and she says there's a group of men that are groping female protesters. And then like this group, this angry mob like shifts its way across the crowd in Tahrir Square and like starts beating the hell out of these kids that are groping women. Like they're going to the protests, not so much to be a number of the counted, but to take advantage of a situation where there's lots of human beings crammed into a space and they can cop feels and hopefully not get busted. And it became such a big deal and then when the protests were over, that protection system was maintained. It continued on until the second revolution, where the American-backed military, we spent $1.5 or $1.7 billion in military hardware and money to them. And 3 days later, they overthrew the democratically elected government. And in the process, they shut the communication system, the internet communication systems down. So like all your apps were all blocked. You couldn't use Facebook Messenger. Facebook was blocked. All that stuff was done. Israel does it in Gaza and in the West Bank all the time. If there's a military bombardment going on, they will cut the internet off in Gaza so that you can't get information out, so that public can't see what's happening. I mean, it's the new way to cover up. I mean, imagine if the American government after in Vietnam could have got their hands on the roll of film that photographer coming from My Lai had. Do you think the American public would have ever saw those poor Korean girls burning running around naked in the street, you think that the American government would have allowed the American public to see those things that were so damning to the American public? I don't. Do you think that if we could have gotten video of the Gulf of Tonkin, it could have possibly prevented Vietnam? I do. Why? Because being able to block communication and block facts allows you to control the narrative, allows you to control the public.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way?
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है Helium.com.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you kill the faucet, you color 5 to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
That's right. It's the call to freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Are you new? Are you new to the crypto industry, or are you wanting to get plugged in, but you don't have the time to spend all day reading white papers and candle graphs? Well, let me introduce you to Helium.com. It's a savings accelerator. And the way that it works is it's a bot that's been designed to watch the values of fiat currencies along with cryptos, and it moves your money when the timing is just right. It's real easy. It's powered by Uphold.com. You just fill up your Helium account with a bank card or your own crypto wallet, and then you just set it and forget it. It's like the crock pot of cryptocurrencies. It's completely automatic. Helium, it lets your money move you. So go on over to Helium.com. That's helium with an E.com/CTF. HELEUM.com/CTF, and get a great deal as a thank you for being a Call to Freedom listener. Now, moving on with Crypto Hour here, we found this story. I find it kind of amusing. I was talking about it to the guys in the studio here, and when I described in like shorthand basically what it's saying, everybody had a good chuckle because especially with the way that it's beginning, because everyone has been warned about the possibility, that robots will take our jobs.
They took our jobs. They took our jobs.
Well, now that future's here. The reality is, well, it's a little more mundane, but no less terrifying. Bots are here to take our tokens. Automated bots are swamping ICO groups on Telegram and helping themselves to a share of the tokens being discussed, while other bots are engaging in even more egregious behavior. A swarm of bots is taking over crypto Telegram. It's important for ICOs to have a respectable Telegram following. It's a ready reckoner that enables prospective investors to gauge at a glance the level of interest in the project. Twitter followers can easily be bought, but Telegram numbers, so the consensus goes, are harder to fake. Harder, but by no means impossible. And because Telegram is more of a closed network than Twitter, it's hard to scrutinize the quality and humanity of a group's followers. And with news breaking that up to 70 million Telegram account usernames and phone numbers have been leaked and are for sale, bot-based scams are likely to proliferate. Pretty good weekend. It's common for ICO Telegram groups to be inundated with followers after launching an airdrop because, well, this is a requisite to claim those free tokens. After kickstarting its airdrop last week, for example, Kleros, a blockchain dispute resolution layer, saw its Telegram followers mushroom from 500 to 6,000 in just over 48 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah. The project's community manager, Stuart James, told news.bitcoin.com that Kleros welcomes the influx, but is keen to ensure that airdrop tokens are distributed to, quote, genuine community members only, explaining, after a while, you get a feel for the sort of behaviors that have the hallmarks of bot activity. Shortly after joining a Telegram group, they'll post similar replies to the pinned post and engaged in other programmatic responses. Evidence suggests that the majority of our new Telegram followers are human, but there's a subset that's clearly bot-based. And it's the same in other ICO Telegram groups that I've spoken to. Now, there's nothing intrinsically good or bad about bots. It's how they're purposed by their operators that defines them. ICO groups use their own bots, for example, to perform automated checks of whitelist signups and to issue generic greetings and crowd sale information to new arrivals, kick people out that are promoting radio shows. Beyondy, a Telegram bot developer with the handle Slipstream, specializes in programming bots for the benefit of crypto users, but is well aware of the more nefarious ways in which they can be purposed. He explains, well, I could speculate that airdrop bot operators have a pool of phone numbers, probably thousands, where they register an account. PM the airdrop bot and join the chat. But those are non-malicious, maybe just a waste of server resources. The more worrying ones will be scammers who impersonate admins and PM users for Ether, promising them tokens, often with a bonus. Those work by getting the chat participant list and privately messaging all of them. A human then handles the response and interaction where ETH is often requested. Beyondy proposes a number of solutions to this problem, including the suggestion that Telegram reveals the unique user ID assigned to each account, making it easier for participants to differentiate between real and fake admins. It's evident scammers are becoming more sophisticated in their efforts, says Claros. Claros is James Stewart. It's safe to say stopping all attacks is nearly impossible, but any measures which can mitigate the burden on genuine community members is welcomed. As it stands, ICOs have something of a love-hate relationship with bots. An influx of new followers, real or otherwise, brings social proof, which in turn entices genuine investors. But too much bot activity means there's a risk of users being scammed or of airdrop tokens winding up in the hands of a small group who can then dump them onto exchange at the earliest opportunity, crashing the value of your ICO coin. So yeah, man, this I saw it and I was like, this is kind of funny, but it's also kind of like, this is where we're headed. You know, like there's going to have to be in the blockchain space, we're going to have to create among our own some kind of checks and balances, scam protection, something, in order to protect against this kind of stuff. Because the bigger the crypto space gets, the more these scamming fools are going to come in.
Yeah.
I see it on local Bitcoins.
How do you defend against it? I mean, that's the question. Trying to determine whether somebody is a human or not is a challenging problem. I mean, we've got, what do we have? The images.
Well, Democrats can't tell the difference between a libertarian and a Russian bot on Facebook. So
that's true. What's the thing that you type in when you try to sign up for an account at most websites? CAPTCHA.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got CAPTCHAs, but I don't know how well they're working these days.
Really?
Integrating
half the time I can't even get through.
Right, exactly.
And I'm a human.
Exactly. But something like that, integrated into, like some sort of system might help to make the bot situation more challenging.
How so?
Well, because then you can't automate it.
Okay.
So a CAPTCHA, I guess I'll explain what that is.
Yeah, remember.
So,
remember, like half the people that are listening can barely write email.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Okay. We're on AM radio in Bonham, Texas. Okay, so
so when you go to sign up for our website, okay, there's something called the CAPTCHA, and the CAPTCHA is basically an image, and it's usually of text, and you type that in, and the reason you do that is there are bots out there that go and they sign up for lots of accounts at these websites. And the company behind the website doesn't want these fake accounts to be utilized. Their resources are to be abused, etc. And so that's why you would integrate a CAPTCHA so that the bots can't get your tokens, basically, tons of your token.
All right. Well, we're going to get into, there's been a lot of talk about what happened with Backpage, and we haven't really covered it here. Turns out $500 million laundered.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
All right, welcome back here. This is the final segment of this Tuesday edition of the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. And, a couple weeks ago, when this Backpage.com thing first happened, about a week ago, we covered it that day, and we were talking about how now that there is no more the safe space, because like my sister runs a service, and the way that it works is you contact them through Backpage, and then you give her your zip code and your name, and then she goes and she spent money to have the ability to do background checks on people based on that information. She makes sure you're not like an axe murderer, or you haven't been caught wrapping prostitutes in cellophane and stuff, and then she sends you a girl. And now that buffer where girl now, because it used to be like the back in the day you had pimps and John, that kind of thing, but now it's like the girls are doing it themselves. Like there'll be a girl and she'll work for a long time, and then she'll start booking calls for other girls, and then she doesn't want her girls to get beat up and wrapped in cellophane, so she starts doing background checks, and now you have like a functional business where someone who actually cares about the girls that are going out and doing these things is trying to take care of them. And no, not all of these Backpage businesses function that way, but a lot of them do. And now that safe space is gone. Now, girls who had the filter from danger of being able to use the internet are now going to be back on the street corner, because now they don't have access to a legal or safe way to get in touch with their customers. And that's dangerous. You're creating danger. Oh, we don't like hookers because of you will see them walking down the street. Well, you know what? I don't know of anybody who has a hole stroll in their neighborhood anymore. Most cities no longer have a hole stroll. I know the Tampa hole stroll. It used to be my neighborhood, and it's gone now. You don't see hookers walking up and down the same spaces. You don't see them really at all. Why? Backpage. Backpage took those women off the street and allowed them to run their business of doing their thing out of their home, so that they weren't getting picked up by their John in your driveway. But now the government has said no more of that. And they've charged the people. I mean, this is like Ross Ulbricht all over again. Now they're going to charge the people who provided this service, the platform for this service.
It wasn't the services, it was the platform, which they just happened to be on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
$500 million in money laundering. That's the charge. U.S. authorities accuse the operators of Backpage of earning $500 million in prostitution-related revenue since the site's establishment, and allegedly converting some of those proceeds into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a part of their money laundering efforts. Translation: they made a bunch of money, they invested some of it in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. Money laundering.
Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous. And it's not even...
it's
the crazy thing about this is it automatically becomes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the way the law is written, it's something like it automatically becomes money laundering as soon as they accuse you of some other crime. So it doesn't even matter if they were doing everything properly and whatnot, because it's now a crime because it's this other thing, and even if they drop that other thing, they'll probably still get a conviction on it just because they were accused or something.
Says here, according to the indictment, prostitution ads have enabled Backpage to earn $500 million since its inception in 2004, with every dollar flowing into its coffers representing the proceeds of illegal activity. And after credit card companies stopped processing payments for Backpage, its operators also employed an array of money laundering strategies, according to the indictment, including converting customer payments and proceeds of the sites in and out of cryptocurrency.
Okay, first of all, just because a credit card processor or merchant provider drops you does not make a business illegal. A business can still operate in cash. That's a private decision that another business decided to not do business with you. That doesn't make it money laundering because you then decide to go to use a different form of payment.
Yeah.
Which is cryptocurrency in this case.
Yeah.
It could have just as easily been cash. Well, if it was in the real world.
I'm sure this is setting up for them to do the same thing to cannabis businesses.
Yeah.
Because credit card companies won't do business with them. So, quick, easy way to store your cash, put it into crypto. But, I mean, it's Jeff Sessions. This is his baby.
Yeah, it's Backpage, it's well known for its prostitution ads, but it was more than prostitution. There was I posted a job ad once for computer repair tech, I believe, on Backpage.
Yeah.
And it was the second largest. It was the only competitor, as far as I'm aware of, to Craigslist. And what is Craigslist and what are Backpage? It's their ads. It's just it's your traditional.
It's straight up free market.
Yeah, it's your traditional advertising in like where you might have advertised in a newspaper years ago. Well, now you advertise on Backpage or you advertise on Craigslist, and
yeah, it's a digital newspaper ad.
Yeah,
digital want ads.
That's all it is. It's that simple. I don't know. I'm just. They have already Backpage. This is the crazy thing too about the whole situation. Backpage has already won case after case after case in the courts. The courts have said they have the right to operate, and now the FBI is coming after them.
Well, it's Jeff Sessions.
Yeah,
Jeff Sessions.
It blows my mind.
It's a moralist, an immoral moralist, basically.
This is not prosecution. This is persecution.
We gotta keep the white girls from smoking the herb, but they'll be dancing with the color folk and listening to jazz music. I know they will. And I'm sorry, but that was the 50s, hun. Like, Jeff Sessions needs to be retired 60 years ago. Because his mindset is 60 years ago. He should never have been put or not. Like, I can't believe that they weren't able to block him from being put into the position that he's in. That there wasn't enough muster even among Republicans. I mean, the Republicans seem to be the loudest voices about, like, he doesn't need to be in office and doesn't need to have this job, and still they were unable to block him being put in this position. Now, I've got a statement. This comes from Chief Don Fort. He's of the IRS Criminal Investigation Unit. He says, the masterminds behind Backpage are not only alleged to have committed egregious amounts of financial crimes such as money laundering, they did so at the expense of innocent women and children. While these types of investigations can be made more challenging with the use of virtual currency, offshore banking, and the anonymity of the internet, it should serve as an example to all criminals that there is no place that you can hide where we will not find
This is such a mischaracterization of what actually happened.
I love the movie dialogue, yo.
Backpage cooperated with the government on tracking down children. Yeah. And when they say children, it's actually misleading because we're not talking about, kids like under 13. We're talking about teenagers like in the 17, 18 that weren't quite legal yet.
Who were trying to hook to pay for their bills because their parents had kicked them out of the house.
This was, right, yeah, it's exactly what was going on. This was kids who were, God, here I am finding myself using the words that they've put into my mouth, again, which is a mischaracterization. These were not kids. These were adults that were not of legal age yet.
Yeah.
That's all this was, and the FBI here is mischaracterizing this as being kids, and that's not at all what was going on. And Backpage was cooperating and everything else, and now they're these moral crusaders are coming out of the woodwork to shut down Backpage because they don't like sex.
Yeah. It's about sex outside of marriage is what it is. It's not got anything to do. And I'm not an advocate of that. I'm Muslim. I'm not someone who says sex outside of marriage is a great thing. But I'm also not someone who says, you know what, if people want to have it and they want to do it in a manner that a woman is able to profit from the fact that she's good at it or not, I don't know, then that should be her prerogative. It has nothing to do with me. And it definitely, sure as hell, doesn't have anything to do with the state. I mean, it's literally the oldest profession known to man. It's existed longer than recorded human history. So, I mean, evidently it has some social value in human society because it's literally existed in every single culture ever. So, I mean, we can either continue to be trigger types and pearl clutchers, or we can stand up and say, you know what, let these women work. Let them do what they're going to do. It's not our place to tell them where they're.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.51 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,732. Antiwar.com reports Israeli airstrikes against the Syrian Tyros military airbase have left at least 12 people dead and considerable damage. There are claims that fighter jets and cruise missiles were involved in the attack. Locals reported over 20 missiles hit the site, and Syrian media initially expressed the belief that this was a U.S. attack. The Pentagon denied involvement, however, as both U.S. and Russian officials have since confirmed the attack was Israeli. Israel attacked Syria often enough that this makes sense, and the fact that the attacking planes were said to have come from the Lebanese airspace also suggests it was Israel, as this is their standard method of strikes against Syrian targets. The base attacked indeed was attacked by Israel back in February as well. Israel is believed to be using a Dolphin-class submarine for the missile attacks and their usual array of warplanes for the airstrikes. Israeli Chief Rabbi Yitzhak Yosef said that Israel has a moral obligation to intervene militarily in Syria. Israel, of course, has not confirmed being behind the attack. This is not uncommon for Israel, who has acknowledged only a tiny fraction of the myriad attacks they've carried out against Syria in recent years. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. They don't feed the banks, they're Bitcoin preferred, and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Arizona Supreme Court ruled Monday that college students covered under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program must pay out-of-state tuition rates. The court unanimously agreed with the 2017 Arizona Court of Appeals ruling stating students enrolled in the DACA program, which allows young immigrants brought to the United States as children to legally work and study in the country, are not eligible for lower in-state tuition. A full opinion further explaining the court's ruling will be released by May 14th, but the order was released Monday to allow students in the Maricopa Community College system and other state universities as much time as possible to plan for those affected by the decision. The ruling could force more than 2,000 DACA recipients, known as Dreamers, already attending Arizona public colleges to pay up to 3 times more for tuition. Karina Ruiz, president for the Arizona Dream Act Coalition, told the Arizona Republic a lack of access to federal and state financial aid made it difficult for DACA recipients to pay in-state rates, and the ruling will make pursuing higher education almost impossible for them. Arizona State University's in-state rate for undergraduate students is $10,640 compared to $26,470 for non-resident students, while Maricopa Community Colleges offers an in-state rate of $6 per credit hour versus $241 for non-residents.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports a federal judge on Monday signed off on a $25 million agreement to settle fraud claims arising from Trump University, the now defunct education venture of U.S. President Donald Trump, after a former student agreed to drop further appeals. U.S. District Judge Gonzalo Curiel in San Diego declared the settlement final after the former student, Sherry Simpson of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, decided not to challenge a February 6th decision by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upholding the settlement. Simpson said she spent about $19,000 at Trump University and objected to a provision blocking students from opting out of the settlement and trying to recoup more money on their own. Simpson's lawyer, Gary Friedman, said in an interview on Monday, "This process has taken long enough. We took our best shot. The Ninth Circuit ruled against us, and we want the money to go out to everyone as quickly as possible." New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, who had sued Trump over the university, welcomed the settlement. When initially granting final approval in March 2017, Curiel said the settlement provided significant and immediate relief to thousands of students who could potentially recoup more than 90 cents on the dollar. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Now Facebook is rolling out their newest feature, LifePoint, which analyzes users' histories to determine exactly when things went wrong. The new feature combs through photos, status updates, likes, everything that you put on Facebook in order to pinpoint how someone irreparably ruined their life. For example, it might highlight your friend's spring break trip in 2003 when she took her first shot, or your cousin's engagement to a guy named Scott spelled with a K. So, Facebook must have a lot of depressing information to work with.
Well, we look for sadness indicators, positive versus negative adjectives and status updates, whether you've liked a corporate entity such as Walmart or Arby's.
One of LifePoint's most buzzed about features is the Life Compare function, which lets you see how your mistakes stack up to others.
Here, I'm overlaying my graph with a graph of a childhood friend. You can see his life ended up much worse than mine, which is great.
Anything with a profile has a LifePoint, so you can look forward to finding out when your favorite bands, TV shows, and companies started going downhill.
This is the Onion News Network.
You're listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the final hour of this Tuesday afternoon broadcast on your drive home here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. And well, we have quite a disturbing story to cover, don't we, Chris?
Oh yeah.
This is, well, I mean, I'm not really shocked or surprised by it anymore, because when it comes to the police in the modern era, you know, for them to look at us and literally be able to weigh our blood in dollars and cents is just not surprising to me anymore. You know, maybe in the old like Car 54 Where Are You days, this was shocking to people, but today it's just not. And this guy's up for re-election this year as well.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's kind of funny how we think, you know, the modern America, you know, the corruption's kind of been, you know, taken care of, but that's not really the reality of it. We still have corruption. They've just hidden it from view better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at this story and wondering, what the endorsement for this. So you've got this this group here, the KCDOA, and they do endorsements. They're a union for detention deputies, prison guards, and basically you've got this guy. His name is Sheriff Youngblood. Sheriff Donnie Youngblood. And this is in Pinko, liberal California, even. The Bakersfield.com is the source here. Says the Kern County Detention Officers Association, so this is a union for prison guards, released a video Monday showing Sheriff Donnie Youngblood making shocking comments about police violence. Now, the video was shot 12 years ago during an endorsement meeting that the union had with Youngblood during his first successful campaign. Now, it goes through, and we're actually going to play the video for you, but it makes sure to tell you that in this year, in 2018, the KCDOA is endorsing Justin Fleeman, who is Youngblood's challenger. But my question is, did they endorse Youngblood in 2006? When this statement was actually made. I'm going to look that up while we're on break. But I want to play this for you before we really get into, very, very far into this. You are going, if you are going to be shocked if you think police are there to protect you, and you think that cops are good people, then you are going to be absolutely shocked by this video. If you've been paying attention for the last, ever, then this shouldn't shock you, but should still piss you off.
I think that detention deputies receive more training probably today than a deputy sheriff ever did when he worked in jail, if that's what you're asking. Period. Nobody in operation. Absolutely, yes. And there's a good reason for that. Millions and millions of dollars. You don't see the loss. You know what happens when a guy makes a bad shooting on somebody and kills them? $3 million, the family goes away after a long back and forth. When it happens in corrections, it's a totally different ballgame. If you stack on top of that an inmate that's in restraint, if you tack on top of that a number of officers that may or may not be involved, if you tack on top of that the setting that you're in, that is absolutely huge. It's no different than when a deputy shoots someone on the streets. Which way do you think is better financially? To cripple them or kill them? For the county. Absolutely. Because if you cripple them, you got to take care of them for life. And that cost goes way up. And the same thing happens to a death that occurs in corrections. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'll bet you since the incident occurred, every time an inmate dies and there's a news video wants them to go, they're all over it.
If he is suggesting that they should be killing people, murder, committing murder. That
basically what he's saying is that if a detention officer injures an inmate, it costs the city more money than if it's a regular police officer just shoots a civilian in the street.
It sounds like he's saying that they should shoot to kill.
Well, no, because you can't shoot in. You can't. He's talking to detention officers.
Oh, okay.
You can't shoot in a detention
environment. Make sure you
throw him off the top tier.
Okay.
That's what I mean, and that's I went to a jail in Florida. I did time in Florida. I didn't, not a lot, and it was I was chasing the wrong girl basically, and got myself wrapped up in some nonsense. And she stole her parents' car, and everybody that was in the car went to jail. And I wouldn't take a plea deal, so I got they finally got one out of me. After I sat in jail for 4 months.
Hey, you still gave it a good fight.
Yeah, 126 days. I got in front of the judge, and the judge says, 6 months before you'll be back in front of me again. You can probably beat this at trial. Plead no contest, and you can go home today. And I'm like, man, I've been eating Marion County jail food for 4 months. I'm ready to go home. I got to do. I got another 6 months of this, and they're like minimum 6 months because I'm literally I'm in the jail with guys that have been there for 4 years waiting on a court date.
Yikes!
So And that's why I'm like, you know what? I've been here 4 months, and you're telling me 6 months minimum before I see a courtroom again. Yeah, I'll just plead no contest. It won't go on my record, right? And they're like, no, it won't. It totally will. But no, it won't go on your record. It totally did. It totally went on my record. But,
And when you... so you were not released on bail?
No.
They would not release you on bail. That's just insane.
Because I was down here on vacation from Tennessee. I went down in Florida on vacation from Tennessee. And Florida saw me as a flight risk. So they wanted my mom to put her house up to get me out of jail for like a petty grand theft auto, which in Florida is a felony. There is no joyriding law in Florida.
But you weren't even you weren't driving, right?
No,
you were
I wasn't driving.
Just a passenger in the car.
I wasn't even in the car when the police showed up. I was in the gas station buying a pack of cigarettes and a soda, and they threw guns on me. I refused to testify. I refused to talk to the police. I refused to give any information. That's why they railroaded me. That's why I sat in jail for 126 days. Everybody else was out of jail within 60 days. Done, trial, finished, convicted or innocent, finished in 60 days. But because I fought and refused to cooperate, I was in for 126 days, and I had to write my own motion to get my lawyer fired based on a conflict of interest so that I could get a private attorney, because there were 7 people in the car. There were so many co-defendants that I couldn't get a public defender because there were only 7 public defenders.
Oh, wow.
And it was a conflict of interest no matter who it was. So instead of filing that paperwork themselves, they were just passing my folder around the office and nobody filing the conflict of interest paperwork. So I filed the paperwork myself, which is now illegal in Florida. You can now no longer, as an inmate, file your own motions. They did away with that. Handwritten motions.
That's a violation of your constitutional rights.
In Florida, you can no longer do that.
It doesn't matter where you are. That's a violation of your fundamental constitutional rights to defend yourself.
You can.
You do not have to have a lawyer.
I think it's handwritten now. Is the way it is. You can no longer.
That's
file
still denying you your constitutional rights to defend yourself.
Take it out with Rick Scott. Take it out with Rick Scott, yo.
Nothing amazes me anymore. I remember when I was in Pennsylvania, and my partner was, we were driving through Pennsylvania, and he got pulled over for being in the left lane too long.
Yeah.
And you have to have a lawyer in order to do anything, in order to like appeal the ticket or something like that.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
That's the way it is in Florida. Yeah. Welcome to Florida. Where you come on vacation, leave on probation, come back again on violation. Give me money, give me money. Florida, it gives me that state. All right, well, are you a Floridian? Floridian? Give us a call, 603-283-6160. Tell us about how horrible life is in the armpit state.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The Onion looks back at this week in history. On May 6, 1937, the explosion of the German passenger ship Hindenburg brought cheer to an entire generation of Americans in the midst of the Great Depression. The souls of the American people were fleetingly revitalized by the flame-engulfed Zeppelin and the shrill screams of burning passengers leaping to their heartwarming deaths.
Oh my, it's burst into flames! The burning embers and charred flesh are cascading splendidly onto the mooring mast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrific thing I've ever seen. Oh, the luminosity, the gaiety!
And on May 7th, 2000, Vladimir Putin became president of Russia after promising citizens he could bend anything they gave him with just his bare hands. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of the Italian philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli, whoever wants to foresee the future must first look at the past and then imagine all that old stuff looking more future-y and space-like.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.fm पे।
Back into the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Tech himself. We've got Chris Wade from Think Penguin. Now, if our listeners want a highly secured computer, how would they do that, Chris?
Go to thinkpenguin.com, www.thinkpenguin.
Now your website it's like I can build it customizable, or
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, our normal systems anyway are, you just basically select whatever configuration you want, or if you don't know what you want, you can call us, or I mean basically the minimum configuration is like you'll get something decent. You might want to upgrade it in the future, but so you might want to upgrade. I mean, it's probably cheaper and easier to upgrade it from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, if you don't, it's still going to be a good system initially for a while anyway.
Very good, very good. And what's the website again?
www.thinkpenguin.com.
Very good, very good. Now, again, we're back to this story here. This is he's running for sheriff, and excuse me, he's running for sheriff, and he's really not a good guy to be honest. Now the audience chanted to him when he says it's no different than when a deputy shoots someone in the streets to cripple him or kill him for the county. What do you think is better financially? Kill him! So I mean, it didn't sound like the folks that were there were very unhappy. I mean, now they support the other candidate. But, this isn't the first. Like, why have they not used this video to attack him? I mean, he's been in office since 2006. Why is this just now in 2018? So what is that, 12 years now? Why 12 years later? Why not 4 years ago or 4 years before that? If it's something that this union, this prison guards union is so shocked and appalled, how dare he? This is just terrible. If they weren't okay with it, then why keep the lid on it for the last 12 years? You got any suggestions on that, Chris? I love that look like, why are you asking me, dude?
I mean, so does it make, I mean, would it make him look bad or let him look bad because they endorsed him at one point?
Well, that's just it though. Is like, there's really not a whole lot being said about whether or not they endorsed them then. I can't really find anything online about whether or not they decided to endorse him then, or the next election, or this previous election. Just that they don't endorse him now. They do endorse his opponent, and suddenly they have this video where he was at their event 12 years ago. Basically, says here, where's it at? Kevin Dees, the president of the KCDOA, said the group was going through the video looking for campaign promises that Youngblood hadn't fulfilled when they came across the statement. So that kind of gives me the impression that they're mad that he didn't do something that he promised and that they endorsed him before, and he didn't do what he said he would do. So now they're going to use this juicy little tidbit to create scandal.
Yeah, that seems like a plausible explanation.
So basically, the KCDOA isn't really outraged about this. They do really want you to vote for the other guy, though. I mean, that's the let's just be honest about it. The KCDOA couldn't give a damn less if you shot a black guy in the back of the head or if you shot him in the back of the back of the leg. They're not outraged at all by saying that it's cheaper for the city if you blow his brains out. They're not outraged by that at all. They just simply don't like the candidate now, and they've endorsed his opponent. So suddenly this video that wasn't particularly controversial in 2014 or 2010 or 2006 is controversial now in 2018. Dees has gone on to say these comments are callous and they aren't statements anyone should make. That seems to be something you'd hear back in the 60s, he said. I don't believe that any of those comments reflect the thoughts of any of the men and women who put their life on the line for the public every day. Oh my God, it's almost like he's never been to any of these other events, because this is not the first time statements like this have been made. I mean, you have groups that go to police departments and teach about this stuff, about the cost, about how to basically lie your way out of it when you get caught shooting a person who you shouldn't have shot.
Oh, I remember I forget what city it was.
Baltimore with the fake guns they kept in the dash?
Yeah, it was something
Baltimore.
Like that. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's the amount of corruption.
That's another lefty city, man.
And this is not... You know what's really sad is this is not something that just happens in Baltimore or Florida. It happens all over
the world. All over the world.
Yeah,
not just over the country.
I was thinking all over the country, but you're right. It happens all over the world.
Yeah.
Humorous story actually. I had a trial the other day for a parking ticket, and the witness they had on the stand literally got up and she lied repeatedly, and I was just blown away about how easy our government officials that we have.
Okay, you got to give me a little play-by-play on that one. What was the lie? What was the flat out falsehood?
I might have to rewatch the video, but there was a number of times that she very clearly lied. There was certain information that I knew that she had said, and she admitted, like at one point she admitted to she knew about. She saw me in. So what happened was I was filming in City Hall at the park, the parking department, I guess it was, and she admitted to knowing, to being there and having a conversation basically, but then she, I'm actually, that wasn't a good example because she in that particular case, she basically denied knowing when I knew she knew about, like, so she had a conversation about me, and it was a very derogatory conversation, and they were trying to like punish me basically to figure out. She was having a conversation with another city employee on how they can punish me, and for filming, and then the other employee said something like, well, we can't punish him for filming because it's not illegal or something like that. And there's already been court cases here in Keene. And the whole reason I was trying to bring that up at trial was because there was a bias here, and what she was testifying on various other parts were basically lies. And unfortunately, off the top of my head, I can't remember what the other parts were that were more obviously, lies. But yeah, so.
All right. Well, when we get back here, give us a call, 603-283-6160. Have you had run-ins? Do you have a particularly dishonest officer or experiences with cops where they were just straight up like, you know what, I can kill you and get away with it, and it's easy?
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
the people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.fm. We've been talking about this extremely disturbing video that's surfaced. It's a 12-year-old video, though, which tells me the people who have had it... It was just released. Yeah. Which tells me the people who have had it in their possession for the last 12 years... Well, they're releasing it for a political reason, not for any real moral reason, which is what they're claiming here.
Yeah.
This prison guards union, because they're just known for being filled with advocates of morality and non-aggression, basically says that he doesn't think that this is something that should ever be said in public. Just not so much so that they thought the public should see for 3 elections.
You know what's really actually kind of humorous about that is, not saying it should not be seen in public, is that it wasn't said in public.
No, it wasn't. It was said at a private union meeting.
The person who released it was really the one who was saying it in public.
Yeah, right.
So doesn't that mean it's more telling about you than about the person who actually said it?
But now this, like I said, this guy, he got elected in 2006, the year he made this statement, then reelected 4 years later, then reelected 4 years later, and now another 4 years later, this union suddenly doesn't like him, and now this video they've had in their possession for that entire time is going to be given to the public with that one little snip taken out of it, and they're going to virtue signal. I mean, that's what they're doing. Oh, this is so terrible. I can't believe that someone would say this. How horrible. I'm so offended. You can tell by the fact I didn't say anything about it for 12 years.
I support it, but
Exactly. These people support this crap, but because of the fact it can be used as a political tool.
They have a tussle with this guy, and they don't like him anymore, and now they're going to use it against him.
Now, Youngblood says his words are taken out of context. He says the discussion centered around the 2005 in-custody beating death of James Moore, a fatality that eventually led to criminal changes being brought successfully against several Kern County detentions deputies. Kern County being the county he's the sheriff of. He said he was trying, to explain that when a deputy does a bad thing, it's expensive. The money comes out of the county general fund, which provides raises and pays for more deputies. None of which did he actually say in the video. Youngblood said the county policy is to use deadly force only to remove a threat to life of officers or the public. I've never inferred we should shoot to kill, Youngblood said. Still, he said, the words aren't right, even though the detention deputies did choose to endorse him that election. So there's your answer.
Yeah.
They are so outraged by it that they endorsed him the year that he said it. But now, 12 years later, they've decided, no, we don't support that. We support his opponent, who more than likely has said the same thing at a private meeting with them as well.
Yeah.
They have that video, which they will release as soon as he makes them mad.
Corruption, man.
Oh my God.
These people are the people that we have running for offices and running. They are the most despicable people you can possibly come up with. I don't even know where they come up with these people. It's like, take the bullies in school and whoever's the biggest bully, let's pull them and use them and run with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, here he says, I do wish I would have said it differently. But they weren't offended back then. That's exactly what he said. I wish I would have said it differently, but they weren't offended back then. So, I mean, even he's acknowledging, like, this is totally political. It has absolutely nothing to do with the moral high horse that this prison guards union is trying to exalt itself onto. There is no moral high ground here.
All right, guys. So the real answer is don't vote for any of these candidates.
Any of them.
Yeah.
If they aren't willing to do an F the police rally while they're running for sheriff, then you don't want to vote for them. Well, Dees says that the union has only endorsed Youngblood in the general election 12 years ago, and then they considered him the lesser of two evils. Fleeman said he learned of the video on Monday and was shocked by the sheriff's take on shooting deaths and the ability of Kern County to buy victims' families. People are not trash. They're human beings, Fleeman said. If he was trying to explain something to officers, there was a better way to say it. But he said Youngblood's service has been a terrible time for the Kern County Sheriff's Office. I wish detention officers would have released the video when it happened. He wouldn't be sheriff, Fleeman said. Every unit in the sheriff's department has suffered and been hurt under his leadership. Fleeman also said he's worried that the video will increase the negative perception of the department in the midst of a Department of Justice excessive force investigation and news reports about incidents which have resulted in the deaths of suspects. I do worry about the clip that is released, Fleeman said. If we have another in-custody death or officer-involved shooting, I don't know what's going to happen to our place. Now, this guy, I don't know if you guys remember hearing about this. He's the sheriff of the small town that has as many police officer involved shooting deaths in 2015 or 2016 as New York City.
What?
Yeah, it's like Keene, but well, actually, it's more like Manchester probably.
Okay.
So imagine if Manchester had as many officer-involved shooting deaths as New York City, like all of New York City, like
That's
the Bronx,
crazy.
Brooklyn, Manhattan, all of like New York City proper, what people think of as New York City that don't live there. All of that area, I think they had like 11 police officer shooting deaths. And in that year, the town he's the sheriff of, there was either 15 or 16.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like a lot more. 20% more
What did
shooting.
they get? Like all the most incompetent officers, like to all go for that particular city?
Well, I mean, if you have a sheriff who was going around to police unions and sheriff officers unions
Telling people to shoot the
saying like it's cheaper if you just kill them, guys. Just kill them.
just
It's
kill 'em.
cheaper if you just kill them.
Wow.
Well, what the hell do you expect? You know? Like,
No, it's true. Yeah.
I went to the same jail that I was talking about in Florida in Marion County, and they had a similar attitude. There was a guy there, he was a sergeant, I think he was a sergeant. And while a sergeant, he flipped an inmate off a third tier in a jail, and the inmate died.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was because of a slight. He said something to the officer, and the officer snapped. He didn't attack the officer physically.
Yeah.
And the only thing that happened was he was busted down. When it was all said and done, he got busted down to corporal from sergeant.
Are you serious?
I am serious as a heart attack. He was one of the guards while I was in the jail. People were straight up like, don't mess with him. Don't mess with him. He murdered an inmate and got away with it.
As far as status?
They knocked a couple stripes off and he's not going to get as much money on his pension. And he literally straight up murdered an inmate in Marion County, Florida. Yeah, in the 90s. I mean, I was there in like 2000.
These police apologists or government apologists, just unbelievable.
It's insane, man. It's insane. And the sheriff who facilitated and allowed all of that stuff won election after election after election, and his right-hand man did the same thing for over a decade.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
All right, welcome back here to the final segment of this Tuesday afternoon broadcast of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We are, we've been talking about police corruption. The conversation started by this article from Bakersfield.com. It was basically, I got an article from Newsweek, and I followed the sources back to the original source of Bakersfield.com, where in a election in Kern County in California 12 years ago, a statement was made that it's cheaper to kill a perp than it is to cripple them. That if you just throw $3 million at a family after some heeing and hawing, they'll go away. But that if you cripple someone, if you shoot someone and wound them and cause damage that sticks with them for life, well, now you're stuck paying for their upkeep forever. And that's just not good for the city budget.
I want to know how big these cities are, because $3 million, that's a lot of money. Even today, like I was looking at a $250,000 lawsuit where the city of Manchester had to pay out, and that was like
Kern County has a population of 882,000.
Okay.
For the entire county.
Okay, that's probably about 8 times the size.
Bakersfield being
of
the
Manchester, I think.
major city in the county.
This is actually a significant percentage of like a city's tax dollars. If you're talking $3 million, it's not an insignificant number. If you've got enough of these, incidences that happen, that adds up. And what did you say? It was like 8. There was like 18 murders or something. Cops killing people.
I want to say it was 15 or 16.
15 or 16.
And the same year, New York had like 9 or 11.
Yeah, that kind of thing is that adds up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you should not. I mean, from just a tax perspective, that's actual money coming out of your pocket.
Yes,
that's not an insignificant number. If there is a significant amount of, people getting killed because of cops.
Well, I'm looking up Hillsborough County, New Hampshire's population size is half that.
Okay.
406,000. But how many officer involved deaths, involved shootings in Manchester, New Hampshire in 2015?
I think there was at least one. I don't know if there was a lot more than that.
It looks like, yeah.
I know Manchester has some serious problems with police abusing people and winning lawsuits. But I know there was a $250,000 case that was won here recently, but it wasn't not a murder case. It was, I'm sorry, a cop murdering somebody. It was in relation to them violating people's rights.
Well, it's very low.
The murder rate?
No,
the police murdering people.
Police killing people in Manchester.
Yeah, what was the statistic and for what year?
Well, looking up for 2015, I can't find any.
Okay. That probably makes sense.
And that's the same year that the statistics for this Bakersfield. So a county half the size. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Bakersfield, California is kind of let's see here, middle America, white, retired. Like this isn't Compton, folks. We're not talking about San Jose. It's Bakersfield. Like it's known for being like light bread and skim milk. You know what I mean? So it's the same as Manchester, as Hillsborough County to me, just half the size. And you've got, 1,600 times more police shootings.
Yeah, Manchester has a lot of problems, and if the police there are not murdering people,
then if you kill 16 people with your police department and a county half your size doesn't kill any, I'm going to have to say that maybe you going around and telling cops that, hey, it's cheaper for the county if you kill people has something to do with that.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, there's a large opioid crisis, and with, that kind of situation, there's a lot of crime. Like,
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, Lord. Well, it's not done. We're not done here, though. Let's see here. Youngblood said he's the kind of campaign that Fleeman is trying to run, and that his opponent is willing to burn down the sheriff's office in order to win. Youngblood said he knew there was video out there a month ago, and that Fleeman's campaign has a long list of similar hit pieces ready to go against him. They've made public records requests of my travel records, so that's what we're going to see next, Youngblood said. Are there no ethics or integrity involved? He said, as he also has said he's got dirt on Fleeman too. I've got something I could use, but I'm not going to. I don't feel the need. Yeah, that means I don't have anything. You should probably vote for him because he's better than me. I have lots of dirt. He's even admitting, he's like, I got lots of dirt out there that he's going to be digging up. So, like, my travel records, I've done some pretty shady stuff, and I probably spent some city money to go on some vacations. So, you know, yeah. I mean, he's straight up telling the voters, like, there's going to be more. But I've got something. He's not perfect. I've got dirt on him. I'm just not going to tell you what it is. Oh, my God. It sounds like we're in the second grade on the playground again.
It is. That's politics, man.
Oh, my God.
I mean, politics
is the second grade playground for adults.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Any group, you get any group together, and you're going to find people, like two different diverse opinions, and they're gonna fight and bicker, and there's a reason. So statistically, like, in order to be most effective, like, in order to get the most done, you have to have, like, I think it's like 7 people. If you have more than 7 people, then all of a sudden you get into, like, wars, like political wars, and so your output is reduced, and it's basically the same idea.
Politics is basically the sandbox for adults where grown-ups do all the things that we spend our time teaching 5-year-olds not to do.
Yeah.
Don't say mean things. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, unless you're a politician. Don't steal. Don't lie.
You're a politician.
Don't cheat. It's like all the things that, like, all the what's that thing? Everything I really need to learn about life I learned in kindergarten. They need to hang that on the wall behind the Speaker of the House. Put that on the wall behind the Speaker of the House, because the in God we trust thing and the eagle and all that is just not, that's why they got rid of the 10 Commandments. They couldn't handle having those reminders of moral ethics hanging on the wall over their heads every day. Like,
shall not murder,
thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal,
shall not murder, as their hellfire missiles at, like, schools and things like that.
Exactly. Well, not only that, but thou shalt not steal. I mean, could you imagine a world without government theft?
No, I can't. I've never lived in such a world.
It'd be a world without war.
It would be a nice. I'm sure
a world without black kids shot in the streets.
Yeah, it would be a great war. A
great war. It would be a great war. Yeah. Unfortunately, probably to get us to that point.
Yeah, it definitely would take a war to get us to that point.
Which is sad. And I know people talk about, like, the whole Martin Luther King peaceful evolution nonsense, and that's a great thing to aspire to, but. I mean, your choices are do you want to be a little Malcolm X or do you want to be a little Martin Luther King? And in the end, the government killed one of them and their own killed the other, So you can scream for peaceful evolution and the government will put a bullet in your head, or at least facilitate you getting a bullet put in your head. I mean, we've known this. MLK Day just passed. We didn't talk about it, but we know this. The government was, at the very least, knowledgeable if something was going to happen.
They arrest the black person and then release him to the white crowd.
That's right. All right, well, we'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to have the guys from the Bad Crypto podcast on with us tomorrow during Crypto Hour, so come and hang out for that. Thanks to High Tech Hate for that suggestion. And don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around. Free Talk Live's coming up next.
Free Talk Live.
Your show is dangerous for people.
Yes, it is very dangerous for the state. It's dangerous for the status quo. It's dangerous for the status quo, Bob, and it's dangerous because people like you who only want one particular message, and that is crack down, put all those people in jail. We need to bust the border up, and we need to hurt peaceful people. That's what your message is. Yours is the real dangerous message because you're the one who's advocating aggression against peaceful people. Don't you think that's shameful?
No, I think if it's against the law, you shouldn't be advocating against the law. I'm for the law.
Ding, ding.
And if you break the law,
Hey.
it's
In the 1860s, it was against the law for black people to escape from their masters. Do you think they should have been brought back?
no.
Okay, you're a lawbreaker. The United States made it against the law for Indians to mix with white people. Do you think that that was a good law?
No.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.51 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,335 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $24, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,732. Antiwar.com reports Israeli airstrikes against the Syrian Tyros military airbase have left at least 12 people dead and considerable damage. There are claims that fighter jets and cruise missiles were involved in the attack. Locals reported over 20 missiles hit the site, and Syrian media initially expressed the belief that this was a U.S. attack. The Pentagon denied involvement, however, as both U.S. and Russian officials have since confirmed the attack was Israeli. Israel attacked Syria often enough that this makes sense, and the